Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Norige Banton.
In nationwide news, this murders fall by 11% over the first 83 days this year compared to the corresponding period last year.
Police statistics show that St. James remains the most murderous parish, while only one homicide was recorded in Portland.
Senior strategist in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Seavright, says Jamaica will not be affected by news that JetBlue is cutting routes across the Americas.
Opposition spokesman on health demands a full disclosure about contract between the Health Ministry and UK company linked to accused racist.
Jamaicans are being used as a stamp of approval to say that this overt racist is not of that type of leaning.
Civil society group JAMP urges the House Speaker to share the advice given to her about how to treat reports submitted for tabling by the Auditor General.
In news from the rest of the world, a Bermudian lawyer slapped with 15-year prison term for stealing money from his clients. Israel cancels a visit to the White House after the U.S. decides not to use its veto in crucial Security Council vote on Gaza. In headline sports, Jamaica registers 8-wicket win over Leeward Islands to complete the double in regional women's cricket.
And later on our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the opposition is demanding answers from the government about a contract between the Health Ministry and a company linked to a wealthy UK businessman being investigated for racially abusing black British MP Dan Abbott. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, and MP Dan Abbott will join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what is your main takeaway from the Prime Minister's budget presentation? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
And at 7 this evening, Edwin Allen reclaimed the girls' title, while Kingston College defended their boys' title at the recent Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships. We'll hear from the respective team captains along with their coaches. All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, jm.com, and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, March 25, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. There continues to be a downward trend in the number of major crimes reported since the beginning of the year. That's according to the latest statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF. The report shows a near 11% decline in murders since January 1 this year. Shalois Michael reports.
According to the JCF, 251 homicides were committed between January 1 and March 23 this year. That's 30 fewer than the 281 recorded over the corresponding period in 2023. 28 homicides were recorded over the last 7 days. The police divisions which recorded increases in murders are St. Catherine South, St. Andrew South, St. Andrew Central, St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, Trelawney, and Westmoreland. All other divisions except Kingston Eastern have recorded a decline. Kingston Eastern recorded 16 murders, the same number recorded during last year's review period. Only one murder was recorded in Portland over the review period this year. St. James continues to be the most murderous division, recording 35 homicides. That's 3 fewer than the 38 killed in the corresponding period last year. Westmoreland has assumed the number 2 spot, recording 24 murders. Meanwhile, there's been a slight increase in shootings during the period under review. According to the JCF, There have been 239 incidents of shooting so far this year. That's 7 more than last year's number. All other major crimes, rape, robberies and break-ins have declined. Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government continues to invest heavily in strengthening the capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF.
We continue to build out the human resources of the force to keep ahead of attrition and to be commensurate with the law and order challenge through a robust program of recruitment and training of over 2,000 officers, which puts the force almost at its full establishment. We are procuring an additional 280 cameras to be installed in downtown Kingston under the Jamaica Eye program. That will create a security blanket in that area. We are investing approximately $650 million in the JCF's mobile network and microwave data network to improve its communication infrastructure, increasing island-wide coverage from 67% now to 90% by 2028.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness during his budget presentation last Thursday.
And the Prime Minister says public sector workers must accept that high productivity is a true antidote to the problem of diminishing wages. As part of his budget presentation, the Prime Minister sought to link the country's perennial problem of low wages and poor physical infrastructure development to the low level of productivity in the public sector. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
According to the Prime Minister, the government, acting alone, cannot protect wages against the ravages of inflation. He says every worker in the public sector must raise their game to ensure that recent wage increases granted under the public sector restructuring exercise are not eroded by inflation.
So having increased the level of salary, we must now protect this new level of salary from inflation. While our inflation targeting policy is working, the greatest protection against inflation is increased productivity, which translates into greater output, greater growth, greater revenues, which can sustain higher wages, which lead to greater productivity. Every worker on a personal level should embrace the virtuous cycle of productivity and see increasing productivity as being in their own best interest to protect the value of their current income and secure future increases.
Mr. Holness says his message about higher public sector productivity is intended for managers and supervisors as much as it is directed to the other employees.
While we want workers to be independently responsible for their productivity, management has an indispensable role in restructuring the work environment to enable workers to give of their best. This is why performance management is such an important part of the compensation restructuring exercise. We must restructure work, re-engineer processes, and introduce systems and technology to empower the worker to be innovative, to work smarter, to measure their output, and we must reward them for their efforts. We want to build a new public sector bureaucracy that can adequately serve the Jamaican people, that can adequately serve the new version of Jamaica that is emerging.
The Prime Minister says the development of the country's physical infrastructure has also been stunted by decades of low productivity. He says if this is addressed, the country could easily double its GDP.
Based on our long-term strategic planning of the economy, we saw on the horizon that low productivity, among other concerns such as shortage of skilled labor, would be a constraining factor for growth. With our existing level of productivity, our growth path can be defined as between 1% and 2% on average. If we were to secure a level of productivity to the point where we are able to spend the full capital budget and implement projects as scheduled, we could move our growth pathway to 3 to 4% conservatively over the next 5 years. This would mean a doubling of the rate of project delivery, which means getting better roads, water, hospitals, buses, garbage collection to the people than we are currently doing at the current rate.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder, is calling on House Speaker Juliet Holness to share the opinion of the Attorney General on the issue of the tabling of reports from the Auditor General.
Maybe in November and in October, it didn't appear to the Speaker that the need to share the Attorney General's opinion was paramount. But But I would imagine that at this point, I'm hoping that the Speaker is reconsidering that, as well as the government. Since it has come down to a place where there are so many different voices contending, JAMP has a different view as citizens, and as we've said, we're not swearing we're correct, but this is our view, and we're asking for correction. Speaker has, the opposition has, the media might have. We're asking again for the Speaker to share the opinion of the Attorney General with Jamaica so that we can be satisfied and so that we can be guided and so that we can be assured. That's the whole point of being transparent, is to assure citizens that the decisions that you have taken as a government is actually, in fact, in their best interest.
Last Friday, it was revealed that 2 reports were returned to the Auditor General by the Clerk of the Houses of Parliament without being tabled. It's understood Parliament sent back the reports after Mrs. Holness was advised by Parliament's legal counsel that the department did not comply with the requirement for documents to first be sent to the responsible minister. It's understood the Auditor General was told that the documents were submitted under the wrong section of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, but it's understood that point is being contested by Mrs. Monroe Ellis's department. Ms. Calder says it's important for Mrs. Holness to clarify the matter.
What is important now is that the Speaker comes back to the House and explain again why, despite what citizens say and despite the Auditor General's refusal to follow her ruling, she is now going to give to us the benefit of the Attorney General's opinion. Because her words on that day, and I'll read it, the Speaker said, "The opinion I formed was supported in every way by the Attorney General and the Parliamentary Legal Counsel." I recall the former Attorney General, Member Marlene Malahoo Ford, standing to her feet to address the issue. And she made it so clear that she doesn't believe that every opinion from the AG's office is to be shared. But in these circumstances, it was her opinion that it was best that it be shared. And I agree with Member Marlene Malahoo Ford.
Jeanette Calder, Executive Director at JAMP.
Senior advisor and strategist in the Ministry of Tourism, Delano Seavright, says the Jamaican market will not be negatively affected after US-based low-cost carrier JetBlue announced it was dropping several routes in a bid to cut rising costs.
Thankfully, Jamaica will not be negatively impacted. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, we'll be getting additional flights from JetBlue following this development. For now, we have about 78 flights per week coming in to both Kingston and Montego Bay on JetBlue out of New York, Newark, Fort Lauderdale, and other cities in the United States. Jamaica is categorized by JetBlue as a top performing destination.
JetBlue recently disclosed that it would be cutting more than 20 unprofitable routes from across the U.S. and Latin America effective June 13. The airline is one of the largest carriers of passengers between Jamaica and the U.S. Mr. Seavright says stopover tourist arrivals up to mid-March are running ahead of the corresponding record period last year.
JetBlue Vacations also noted recently to us through their own data that bookings for Jamaica are 7% ahead of where they were last year, March. So we're seeing very positive tourist arrival numbers. We're seeing very positive booking numbers, and we continue to see very positive demand for Jamaica. And as such, despite the restructuring that JetBlue is going through, Jamaica will actually benefit and do better than other destinations around.
Delano Seavright, Senior Advisor and Strategist in the Ministry of Tourism. Jamaica has welcomed 1 million visitors and earned $1 billion in foreign exchange over the first 2 months of this year. You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
14 minutes after 5.
Rent-A-Kill Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification, and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rent-A-Kill is
30 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay.
When someone is on top of things, it shows. On top of the day, on top of the game, on top of the world. And no other card puts you in charge like your new VM Visa credit card. Every click, insert, tap, or swipe solves a problem, sweetens a moment, and unlocks rewards. So what puts you in control of purchases, payments, and a global platform of perks? This card can. Get your VM Visa Gold or Visa Platinum credit card today. For more information, visit myvmgroup.com or call us at 876-754-8627.
Continuing the news, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is demanding transparency from the Ministry of Health about its contract with Phoenix Partnership, TPP, for the digitization of electronic health records. This comes amid controversy in the United Kingdom surrounding TPP's owner, Frank Hester. Hester is accused of making racially abusive remarks about pioneering British Member of Parliament Diane Abbott. Mahiri Stewart has that report.
The Phoenix Partnership is a software company based in Leeds, England. It develops and supplies clinical software. Last year, the Ministry of Health signed a contract with the company to provide electronic health records for multiple health facilities across Jamaica. However, since the signing, TPP's owner, Frank Hester, has found himself in hot water. Hester has apologized after light was shone on racist comments he reportedly made about British Labour MP Diane Abbott. Diane Abbott was born in England to Jamaican parents in 1953. She's the first black woman to win a seat in the British House of Commons and has represented the constituency of Hackney North and Stoke Newington since 1987. Hester reportedly said that Abbott made him want to hate all black women during a 2019 meeting at his company. Mrs. Abbott has since reported Hester to the London Metropolitan Police. They've since launched an investigation. The Labour Party in the UK has called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to return a £10 million donation made to them by Hester, the Conservatives' biggest donor, in light of his comments. And according to Dr. Alfred Dawes, the link between one of Hester's companies and Jamaica is already proving problematic.
Now, we here in Jamaica must be outraged because what has come out in recent weeks is that Lord Marland has said that Mr. Hester cannot be racist because he does lots of business with Jamaica. So Jamaicans are being used as a stamp of approval to say that this overt racist is not of that type of leaning. No, we cannot allow our proud history of resistance against oppression and discrimination in any form to be tainted by this action.
Dr. Dawes claims there are inaccuracies in the value of the contract signed by the Health Ministry with Hester's company. He's demanding full disclosure from the Health Ministry about the agreement with Hester's company.
The Ministry of Health needs to shed some light on its stance morally and in terms of transparency and accountability as to why there was such a massive variation in the size of this contract. And if there is any consideration to cancelling this contract on a moral basis as we stand with the diaspora and Black Britons and their supporters in support of Diane Abbott.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
President of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, Devon Taylor, says the government's plan to develop Fantasy Beach Park in Prairie St. Anne is not enough to satisfy the need for public access to beaches in the parish. Prime Minister Holness announced the planned development, even as he told the nation that the government has crafted a beach access and management policy. That policy is to be tabled at the next sitting of Parliament. Fantasy Beach Park is to be developed similarly to Harmony Beach Park in St. James, but Mr. Taylor says more access is needed.
When you take one situation here in St. Anne, they're talking about development of the Priory Beach. Now, if you look at St. Anne, one of the parishes with the most, tourism product, you cannot have one beach in St. Anne to serve the entire parish of St. Anne. What St. Anne need are conservation easement over the lands so St. Anne people can access their beaches. And so, that's not a compromise. We need access to our foreshore. From our court cases and from our advocacy, that proper and progressive legislation will come into being that gives Jamaicans general and unfettered rights of access, to our beaches.
Devon Taylor, president of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
In Bermuda, a High Court judge has sentenced a lawyer to 15 years in jail after he was found guilty of stealing almost $500,000 from his clients. The judge said 37-year-old Tyrone Quinn exploited the good nature and close relationship he had with one of the victims and had taken advantage of a senior. According to the judge, Quinn did so at a time when the victims were experiencing excruciating physical pain and mental anguish. A jury had returned a unanimous verdict against Quinn in November last year on 3 counts of theft totaling $483,000 from compensation payments to 3 of his clients. Quinn promised to repay his victim, but the High Court was told that this never materialized. In addition to a 15-year prison sentence, the judge ordered a confiscation inquiry under the Proceeds of Crime Act to determine what assets could be seized to offer compensation to the victims.
The UN Security Council has passed a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. In a change in position, the United States refrained from vetoing the measure, which also calls for the release of hostages. The U.S. move signals diversions from Israel, although the White House insists it's not a policy shift. In response, Israel has cancelled its delegation's planned visit to the White House this week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls Monday's development a clear retreat from the previous U.S. position. The U.S. says it's very disappointed by the cancelled visit, but says a separate visit by Israel's defense minister will proceed as planned. The UN Security Council resolution was approved by 14 votes to none, with 1 abstention, the U.S.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Murders fell by 11% over the first 83 days this year compared to the corresponding period last year. Data from the JCF show that St. James remains the most murderous parish, while only 1 homicide was recorded in Portland.
Senior strategist in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Seabright, says Jamaica will not be affected by news that JetBlue is cutting routes across the Americas.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Nora Gay Banton.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Importers, the Jamaica Customs Agency is revolutionizing your clearance experience as our contactless clearance process becomes mandatory on April 2, 2024. This process will facilitate the clearance of all non-commercial personal shipments at our seaports with a CIF value of less than $5,000 being inspected by customs without you or your agent present. You're encouraged to make your payments using our customs mobile app, JA Customs Connect. Fees payable to your shipping agent and warehouse operator remain applicable. For further information, contact your freight forwarder or email Email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jm or call 876-922-5140 to 8. The JCA's contactless clearance process is convenient, efficient, and secure. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. 3 parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Yeah. Get a BMI check, your blood pressure check, your blood sugar and cholesterol check. We're living well when we stay on top of our health. Know your numbers and take control of your life. Don't wait till it's too late. Check your doctor today. Know your numbers and take control. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica today completed the double in regional women's cricket after beating the Leeward Islands by 8 wickets at Warner Park in St. Kitts in the final set of games on the T20 Blaze. The Leewards batted first and made 124 for 5 in their 20 overs. Amanda Edwards, 36, and Divya Saxena, 25, scored most runs as Shadeen Nation ended with 2 for 21. Jamaica replied with 127 for 2 in 18 overs and 2 balls. Captain Stephanie Taylor was left not out on 48 and Rashada Williams unbeaten on 39. Nation weighed in with 23. It was a second title in 9 days for the Jamaicans, who also secured the one-day crown. Humberline and Limehall Academy are locked at 0-0 in the opening game of a doubleheader in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League, now underway at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Meanwhile, 3rd place Tivoli Gardens and 11th place Harbourview will lock horns in the second match of a doubleheader in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex this evening at 7:30. A win for Tivoli will see them move back into second with 48 points, the same as Cavalier, but with a superior goal difference. And a win for Harbourview would move them 1 place up to 10th, further away from the relegation zone. In yesterday's results, Mount Pleasant Academy, the champions, they beat Arnett by 2-0, and Vere United clipped Portmore United by 1-0. Waterhouse dented Dunby Holden's chances of a top 6 finish and enhanced theirs after a 1-0 win at Drewsland. Montego Bay United, they won by 2-1 over Malines United, and Cavalier, they crushed Treasure Beach by 5-0. The local-based members of the Jamaica National Senior Men's Football Team are due back in the island at 7:20 this evening after helping the country to a 3rd-place finish at the CONCACAF Nations League in Texas. Jamaica beat Panama 1-0 in the 3rd-place playoff at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas yesterday, thanks to a wonder strike from defender Dexter Lembesica in the 42nd minute. Coach Heimer Helgrimson says the Reggae Boys played a very tactical game, and the performance proved they can live with the best in the region.
Given we played 120 minutes only 3 days ago, we needed to be clever in approaching Panama, because Panama is a really good passing side, move the ball well. So I think tactical-wise, we played a good performance. Maybe not the best game we have played, but I think we showed by this performance that we can play whatever national team in the world and have a chance against them if we play as tactical as we did today.
Heimer Halcom said, meanwhile, the USA beat Mexico 3-2 to retain their title. In fact, it was their third straight hold on the crown. Finally, in sports at this time, reigning Olympic 110 meters high hurdles champion Hansel Parchment says he is focused on retaining his title at the Paris Summer Olympic Games. Parchment won his first senior global gold medal at the Tokyo Games in 2021. He shocked the favorite Grant Holloway to win in 13.04 seconds, with his compatriot Ronald Levy claiming bronze. Speaking on City of Mag, Parchment says he is aware that a number of athletes are lining up to take the title of him.
Winning mindset, winning. Of course, you know, the aim is to aim for the highest goal, and the highest goal is to be on top of the podium. You know, it's going to be very competitive. We have a lot of young guys who are awesome hurdlers, just like myself, and it's going to be very challenging. I definitely look forward to the competition. Looking forward to have fun, looking forward to represent as best as I can. But of course, my aim is to be on the top. That's what my focus is on. Of course, I know what I need to do to get there, which is make sure that my technique is right, make sure I'm healthy, right? And you know, once I'm healthy and I can put everything together, then I can reach to this goal. So focus is on winning, on the journey to get to winning.
At 31 years old, Parchment became the oldest male athlete to win the 110 meters hurdles in Olympic history, with a gold arriving 9 years after he took bronze in London 2012. Parchment says he's adopted Shelley and Fraser Price's formula for longevity.
You know Shelley and Fraser Price, she's a big role model to most of us, myself. And you know, I look at how she prepares herself and how she's able to remain consistent, you know what I mean, over the years. And that's one of the things I look at and see how I can apply those aspects to my own life. Because I realize, you know, if I want to be consistent as an athlete, I need to look at somebody who has been doing it, who has done it really well, and try to apply the same thing. And, you know, I think I've been improving quite a bit on that, and I see the results. You know, so if I can keep on building, then I can even do better going forward.
Olympic champion Hansel Parchment. That's sports. We're going to be back at 6:05 with more.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern premium affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:31.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The temperature by the Office of the Prime Minister is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 29 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Remember every dream where you have, remember everything where you plan. With JetBlue, anything possible. With a little savings in your hand. Save so you can build the house, buy the land. You have goals and dreams, make a plan. Save so you can.
Living your best life and making memories is priceless. But saving little by little is what makes it affordable. Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
The Leaders Conference of Choice is back on site at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and online. Register now for Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Call 876-978-60012 or visit www.makeyourmarkgroup.com. Sponsored by Make Your Mark Group, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, JPS, Intelligent Multimedia Limited, Monographic Printers, Main Event Entertainment Group, Nationwide News Network, and Visual Tech Solutions. Middle Managers Conference, May 1 to 2, 2024. Sign up at www.makeyourmarkgroup.com.
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888-SAGICOR to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
If you are a parliamentarian or a public official listed in the Jamaica Gazette December 5, 2023 regarding the Integrity Commission Act, or a public official receiving emoluments of $12 million or more during the period January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023, you must file your statutory declarations as of December 31, 2023 and any outstanding statutory declarations on or before March 31. Download the updated statutory declarations form from the Integrity Commission's website at integrity.gov.jm/statutory declarations. Ask your Human Resource or Administration Division for further information. A message from the Integrity Commission.
Shop now and save in Active Home Center Home Sweet Home Sale, Wednesday, March 20th to 27th. Take up to 30% off selected tiles, bathroom fixtures, lighting, and so much more. Shop selected 18-inch ceramic tiles starting at $199 plus GCT. This sale lasts for 1 week only, so don't miss out. Visit our showrooms in Kingston and Montego Bay. Conditions apply. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
History for tomorrow. Yesterday's narrative, today's guide. Join us as we discuss the people, places, and events that have influenced the world as it is today. Remember, knowing your history is essential to understanding the present. So join us on History for Tomorrow, Saturdays at 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats Mondays at 9:30 p.m.
Some of the smartest dummies can't read the language of Egyptian mummies on a flag or a moon. And can't find food for the starving tummies. Pay no mind to the youths, 'cause it's not like...
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We are having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really clip you stalking?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Click News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again.
Live here halfway through an Olympic final.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noveline Williams-Mills coming, the glory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noveline Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment, let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations. The supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Minutes going up to 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us here, and we apologize for the late start. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon, Siobhan.
Good afternoon, Sir Hughes.
Well, Opposition Spokesman on Health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, is demanding transparency from the Ministry of Health about its contract with the Phoenix Partnership, TPP, for the digitization of electronic health records. This amid controversy in the United Kingdom surrounding TPP's owner, Frank Hester. Hester is accused of making racially abusive remarks about pioneering British Member of Parliament Diane Abbott. Mahiri Stewart has that report.
The Phoenix Partnership is a software company based in Leeds, England. It develops and supplies clinical software. Last year, the Ministry of Health signed a contract with the company to provide electronic health records for multiple health facilities across Jamaica. However, since the signing, TPP's owner, Frank Hester, has found himself in hot water. Hester has apologized after light was shone on racist comments he reportedly made about British Labour MP Diane Abbott. Diane Abbott was born in England to Jamaican parents in 1953. She's the first black woman to win a seat in the British House of Commons and has represented the constituency of Hackney North and Stoke Newington since 1987. Hester reportedly said that Abbott made him want to hate all black women during a 2019 meeting at his company. Mrs. Abbott has since reported Hester to the London Metropolitan Police. They've since launched an investigation. The Labour Party in the UK has called on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to return a £10 million donation made to them by Hester, the Conservatives' biggest donor, in light of his comments. And according to Dr. Alfred Dawes, the link between one of Hester's companies and Jamaica is already proving problematic.
Now, we here in Jamaica must be outraged because what has come out in recent weeks is that Lord Marland has said that Mr. Hester cannot be racist because he does lots of business with Jamaica. So Jamaicans are being used as a stamp of approval to say that this overt racist is not of that type of leaning. No, we cannot allow our proud history of resistance against oppression and discrimination in any form to be tainted by this action.
Dr. Dawes claims there are inaccuracies in the value of the contract signed by the Health Ministry with Hester's company. He's demanding full disclosure from the Health Ministry about the agreement with Hester's company.
The Ministry of Health needs to shed some light on its stance morally and in terms of transparency and accountability as to why there was such a massive variation in the size of this contract. And if there is any consideration to cancelling this contract on a moral basis as we stand with the diaspora and Black Britons and their supporters in support of Diane Abbott.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. And Miss Abbott is on the line with us from England, London, England, where it's 10:45 in the night. Miss Abbott, thanks so much for staying up to join us. We appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure.
Good. Let me begin by asking, how are you? I read where you said you felt unsafe, yes, given the attacks by Mr. Hester. How are you?
Well, I should say, first of all, that Mr. Hester didn't just say that I made him hate all black women. He said I should be shot. And that is why the police are investigating it. And of course, it made me feel very frightened.
And what's been the response of the police so far?
Well, it's the Metropolitan Police working with the West Yorkshire Police, because apparently the remarks were made at the headquarters of his company, which is in Leeds in West Yorkshire. But the diaspora is very upset by the racism and the threat of violence. And there has been demonstrations around London about this. People take it very seriously.
The comments were made 5 years ago, 2019. Why are they just coming to light? Do you know?
Well, first of all, I don't think that would have been the first time he abused me. And I don't think it would have been the last. I can't tell you why they have just come to light, but I suspect it was one of his employees who didn't want to jeopardize his employment, but now feels free to expose what Mr. Hester is like. And as I say, my party is telling the Conservative Party, the governing party, that they should give back the 10 million that Hester gave them. My party argues that the governing party should not be taking money from a racist.
Madam Abbott, this matter relating to the Phoenix Group and its business relationships with the Jamaican government has been used almost as a shield to suggest that Mr. Hester and the company cannot be considered racist. What do you make of that?
I mean, we all thought that was ridiculous. It was, as you say, I think it was Lord Marland who seriously said that Hester couldn't be racist because he does business in Jamaica. Well, the diaspora was shocked and horrified by that.
Mm-hmm. And how is that going down in England?
Well, I think people are very upset, and not just the diaspora. British people are very upset.
Uh-huh.
I've had 1,500 email communications about this. I've had a great many cards, commiseration, and so on. And as I say, there have been a series of demonstrations about it.
Mm-hmm. And Ms. Abbott, I can understand
we have to go to a break. Hold the line for us, Ms. Abbott. We are up on a break. Stay with us, please.
We're celebrating 79 years of quality and style at the Ashley Furniture Home Store. We're giving you, our valued customers, 79 discounted styles with up to 50% off dining, lounge, and bedroom pieces. Plus, get 30% off Dacmore pieces with the purchase of an Atlantic Queen or King bed frame. Get a free oversized chair with the purchase of a Belzani 2-piece lounge set. Financing is available. The Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home. Offers end March 31. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Good afternoon. We are discussing this matter of racist comments laid towards UK Member of Parliament Diane Abbott from the leader of the Phoenix Partnership, TPP, which currently has a contract with the Jamaican government for the digitization of electronic health records. Discussing this, we have Miss Abbott on, along with Opposition Spokesman on Health, Dr. Alfred Dawes. Before we go to Dr. Dawes, Madam Abbott, I wanted to ask you, based on the relationship between TPP and the Jamaican government, there are obviously calls for us to stand in solidarity with you by possibly having a second look at that contract. What do you make of those calls? Do you believe, considering the nature of the comments made against you, that the Jamaican government should show solidarity by breaking that contract?
As a British Member of Parliament, albeit of Jamaican descent, I wouldn't want to advise the Jamaican government what to do. But what I would say is, if Mr. Hester is using Jamaica as a cover for his racism and his supporters are using Jamaica as a cover for his racism, then I think the Jamaican government does need to think about what it's doing.
Well, I should tell you, we have the opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, on the line with us. Good afternoon, Dr. Dawes.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ms. Abbott. Good afternoon to all listeners.
And let me tell all listeners, we have just received, literally a minute or two ago, a statement from the Jamaican Health Ministry entitled, "Health Ministry Condemns Reported Racist Remarks by Contractor." And it says that the ministry joins with the diaspora in condemning recently reported racist, sexist, and violent remarks about Jamaican and UK Member of Parliament Dan Abbott, made by the head of the Phoenix Partnership TPP, Frank Hester. The Jamaican Health Ministry goes on to say, in February 2023, TPP was contracted to implement Jamaica's electronic health records. This contract with the government of Jamaica was undertaken after let me just try and bring this up, after TPP's selection as the most suitable firm following due process of an international procurement transaction involving the IDB, that's the Inter-American Development Bank. Subsequent to the award of this contract, the ministry learnt of this incident. Following consultation with the IDB co-financer of the contract and the Attorney General's chambers, the Ministry of Health continues its monitoring of developments in this matter, which is now the subject of a police investigation. The ministry takes this matter very seriously and calls for appropriate action to be taken within the firm to hold Mr. Hester accountable based on the findings from the investigations. And it says, in concluding, the ministry condemns any form of discriminatory behavior, including racism and sexism, and it remains committed to promoting a culture of respect, equality, and understanding within the Ministry of Health and throughout all business relationships. Your reaction to that, Dr. Dawes?
I have been putting out videos speaking about this racism that has been meted out to Ms. Abbott. I have spoken about the nature of the contract, and it is only now when I, in my official capacity as the Shadow Minister of Health, put out a press release, and you started to have a backlash of a magnitude greater than what they expected, has this tepid release been put out. They are hiding behind the IDB. They are hiding behind procurement guidelines. And at the same time, they have failed to address the fact that the initial request for proposals asked for a $2.4 million contract. And what was signed was a $5 million contract. There's nothing about the variation, and I can tell you that the IDB was not a part of the final deliberations. So anything suggesting that, I am reliably informed, is disingenuous. There are other aspects to the procurement, the request for proposals that I will address, but it is a broader issue with the Ministry of Health, and this is only one symptom. Today we're here to stand with Ms. Abbott and to basically say that we are not going to allow Jamaica to be...
No, but you have gone further now. You have gone further now, Dr. Dawes. You're now raising questions about the procurement process and the final contract sum. You have gone further to suggest that there's much more to this than what is so far known in the public domain. What else do you know?
What I can tell you is that the request for proposal was for a $2.4 million contract. And what is in the public domain is that a $5 million contract was signed.
Uh-huh.
And there is nothing to say why there is a variation of over 100%.
So, Dr. Dawes, you have reason to believe that there is some form of malfeasance in the awarding of this contract?
Well, what I can say is that there have been situations, and I have been looking at several contracts that have been awarded, where it is the Ministry of Health will come out and say, as they have done now, that due process was followed. But there are gatekeepers within the Ministry of Health that they write requests for proposals, they write terms of references, and they write standards and regulations that favor one particular contractor over another. And when you look at the black and white picture, what is seen is something that follows due process. But somebody who has not been written into that request for proposal category by category to excel, they will never stand a chance.
And you're saying this...
And I am saying that...
This is applicable in this instant case of TPP?
We have to ask that question, because in the request for proposals, what is there is not necessarily what will be the best platform for the end user. And from what I am gathering, you have paid or you have signed a $5 million contract, and it does not include all the different areas of a hospital. This is supposed to eventually cover all the hospitals and clinics. Now, this is covering 3 hospitals. Now, what will happen to the other 21 hospitals? What is that sum going to be? You're talking about millions more to be spent. Now, it does not include the poor doctors and nurses at Macon Hospital where this is being used. If you want to get lab results, you have to scan a physical paper for it to get into that system. If you want to send, we already have a digital pharmacy electronic system. For that system now that we have got from TPP, to speak to that pharmacy system, you have to print a paper and send it down to the pharmacy, which is backward. They have insisted on the incorporation of a registration system, which when that was presented to me for piloting at Saab Hospital, it was such of an inferior nature that I refused to be a part of it. And this is after the Ministry of Health has spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing an open source system that nobody with a proprietary system would be keen on including in their platform. So it begs there are several questions that one must ask. Why is it that these specific criteria were put in place basically to eliminate competitive bids? And once you have eliminated competitive bids, then you've doubled the contract that is awarded.
Dr. Dawes?
There are lots of questions.
Yes, several questions, and we will have to get some answers. And from the Ministry of Health, yes. Thank you, sir, for raising this. Miss Abbott, thank you so much for staying up late, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And just before we go, we are also just getting in hand, Siobhan, a letter dated last Friday, the 22nd of March. Yes, last Friday, the 22nd of March. A letter sent to the clerk to the Houses of Parliament, Valerie Curtis, by the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness. In this letter, the Speaker is accusing the clerk to the Houses of Parliament of a gross dereliction of duty in dealing with the matter of the tabling of reports by the Auditor General. The letter is explosive and it's very detailed. We're going to read it in full for you when we return in the nation's business. But this is certainly a massive new development in this public dispute and controversy over how reports from the Auditor General ought to be dealt with by the Houses of Parliament. The Speaker writing to the Clerk of the House saying she has been grossly derelict in her duties. You're going to get the details when we come back.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
3 minutes after 6.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Norige Banton. The country continues to see a downward trend in the number of major crimes reported since the start of the year. That's according to the latest statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. The report shows a near 11% decline in murders since January 1 this year. According to the JCF, 251 homicides were committed between January 1 and March 23 this year. That's 30 fewer than the 281 recorded over the corresponding period in 2023. 28 homicides were recorded over the last 7 days. The police divisions which recorded increases in murders are St. Catherine South, St. Andrew South, St. Andrew Central, St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, Trelawney, and Westmoreland. All other divisions except Kingston Eastern have recorded a decline. Kingston Eastern recorded 16 murders, the same number recorded during last year's review period. Only one murder was reported in Portland over the review period this year. St. James continues to be the most murderous division, recording 35 homicides. That's 3 fewer than the 38 killed in the corresponding period last year. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government continues to invest heavily in strengthening the capacity of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF.
We continue to build out the human resources of the force to keep ahead of attrition and to be commensurate with the law and order challenge through a robust program of recruitment and training of over 2,000 officers, which puts the force almost at its full establishment. We are procuring an additional 280 cameras to be installed in downtown Kingston under the Jamaica Eye program. That will create a security blanket in that area. We are investing approximately $650 million in the JCF's mobile network and microwave data network to improve its communication infrastructure, increasing island-wide coverage from 67% now to 90% by 2028.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he was speaking during his budget presentation last Thursday. And the Prime Minister says that public sector workers must accept that high productivity is the true antidote to the problem of diminishing wages. As part of his budget presentation last Thursday, the Prime Minister sought to link the country's perennial problem of low wages and poor physical infrastructure development to the low level of productivity in the public sector. According to the Prime Minister, the government, acting alone, cannot protect wages against the ravages of inflation. He says every worker in the public sector must raise their game to ensure that recent wage increases granted under the public sector restructuring exercise are not eroded by inflation.
So having increased the level of salary, we must now protect this new level of salary from inflation. While our inflation targeting policy is working, the greatest protection against inflation is increased productivity, which translates into greater output, greater growth, greater revenues, which can sustain higher wages, which lead to greater productivity. Every worker on a personal level should embrace the virtuous cycle of productivity and see increasing productivity as being in their own best interest to protect the value of their current income and secure future increases.
Mr. Holness says his message about higher public sector productivity is intended for managers and supervisors as much as it is directed to other employees.
While we want workers to be independently responsible for their productivity, management has an indispensable role in restructuring the work environment to enable workers to give of their best. This is why performance management is such an important part of the compensation restructuring exercise. We must restructure work, re-engineer processes, and introduce systems and technology to empower the worker to be innovative, to work smarter, to measure their output, and we must reward them for their efforts. We want to build a new public sector bureaucracy that can adequately serve the Jamaican people, that can adequately serve the new version of Jamaica that is emerging.
The Prime Minister says the development of the country's physical infrastructure has also been stunted by decades of low productivity. He says if this is addressed, the country could easily double its GDP. Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder, is calling on House Speaker Juliet Holness to share the opinion of the Attorney General on the issue of the tabling of reports from the Auditor General.
Maybe in November and in October, it didn't appear to the Speaker that the need to share the Attorney General's opinion was paramount. But I would imagine that at this point, I'm hoping that the Speaker is reconsidering that, as well as the government. Since it has come down to a place where there are so many different voices contending, JAMP has a different view as citizens, and as we've said, we're not swearing we're correct, but this is our view and we're asking for correction. Speaker has, the opposition has, the media might have. We're asking again for the Speaker to share the opinion of the Attorney General with Jamaica so that we can be satisfied and so that we can be guided and so that we can be assured. That's the whole point of being transparent, is to assure citizens that the decisions that you have taken as a government is actually, in fact, in their best interest.
Last Friday, it was revealed that 2 reports were returned to the Auditor General by the Clerk of the Houses of Parliament without being tabled. It's understood Parliament sent back the reports after Mrs. Holness was advised by the Parliament's legal counsel that the department did not comply with the requirement for documents to first be sent to the responsible minister. It's understood that the Auditor General was told that the documents were submitted under the wrong section of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, but it's understood that point is being contested by Mrs. Monroe Ellis's department. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
You have dreams and goals for the future. You want to make an impact. The UWI Mona, the #1 ranked university in the Caribbean, will help you reach your full potential. Our students have gone on to make their mark in all areas, locally and globally. Industry leaders, heads of state, and Rhodes Scholars all got their start with us. Legacies are made at the UWI Mona. Start building yours. Apply by March 31st at mona.uwi.edu/apply.
Go crazy for this offer from Flow. Get a free Samsung phone and earbuds when you sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the special price of $4,999 plus GCT. Free is all the craze. This crazy offer won't last long. Visit discoverflow.co or your nearest Flow store for more info. Conditions apply.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose, fittings, and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Get ready for some fun every Saturday as the Jamaica Observer brings you Saturday Games Corner. Put your skills and creativity to the test for a chance to win exciting prizes each week.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Don't miss out on the fun and surprises.
You serious?
Grab your copy of the Jamaica Observer this Saturday and get ready to win.
When someone is on top of things, it shows. On top of the day, on top of the game, on top of the world. And no other card puts you in charge like your new VM Visa credit card. Every click, insert, tap, or swipe solves a problem, sweetens a moment, and unlocks rewards. So what puts you in control of purchases, payments, and a global platform of perks? This card can. Get your VM Visa Gold or Visa Platinum credit card today. For more information, visit myvmgroup.com or call us at 876-754-8627.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica today completed the double in regional women's cricket after beating the Leeward Islands by 8 wickets at Warner Park in St. Kitts in the final set of games in the T20 Blaze. The Leewards batted first and made 124 for 5 in their 20 overs. Amanda Edwards, 36, and Divya Saxena, 25, scored most runs as Shadeen Nation ended with 2 for 21. Jamaica replied with 127 for 2 in 18 overs and 2 balls. Captain Stefani Taylor was left not out on 48 and Rashada Williams unbeaten on 39. Nation weighed in with 23. It was a second title in 9 days for the Jamaicans, who also secured the one-day crown. Humberline were leading Limehole Academy 3-0 at half-time in the opening game of a doubleheader in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League, now underway at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Cleo Clark has scored all 3 goals for Humberline. Meanwhile, 3rd place Tivoli Gardens and 11th place Harbourview will lock horns in the second game of a doubleheader in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League at the Tony Spalding Complex this evening at 7:30. A win for Tivoli will see them moving back into second place with 48 points, the same as Cavalier, but with a superior goal difference. A win for Harbourview would move them up to 10th and further away from the relegation zone. In yesterday's results, Mount Pleasant Academy beat Arnett Gardens 2-0 and Vere United clipped Portmore United by 1-0. Waterhouse dented Dunby Holdens' chances of a top 6 finish and enhanced theirs after a 1-0 win at Jerusalem. Montego Bay United came from behind to beat Malines United 2-1 and the Cavalier crushed Treasure Beach by 5-0. The local-based members of Jamaica's national seed men's football team are due back on the island at 7:20 this evening after helping the country to a 3rd-place finish at the CONCACAF Nations League in Texas. Jamaica beat Panama 1-0 in the 3rd-place playoff at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas yesterday, thanks to a wonder strike from defender Dexter Limbikisa in the 42nd minute. Coach Jaime Halgrimson says the Reggae Boys played a tactical game and the performance proved they can live with the best in the region.
Given we played 120 minutes only 3 days ago, we needed to be clever in approaching Panama because Panama is a really good passing side, move the ball well. So I think tactical-wise, we played a good performance. Maybe not the best game we have played, but I think we showed by this performance that we can play whatever national team in the world and have a chance against them if we play as tactical as we did today.
Hamer Halgrimson. Meanwhile, the USA beat Mexico 3-2 for their 3rd straight hold. Reigning Olympic 110 meters hurdling champion Hansel Parchment says he's focused on retaining his title at the Paris Summer Games. Parchment won his first senior global gold medal at the Tokyo Games in 2021. He shocked the favorite Grant Holloway to win in 13.04. Speaking on City of Mag, Parchment says he's aware that a number of athletes are lining up to take the title off him.
Winning mindset, winning. Of course, you know, the aim is to aim for the highest goal, and the highest goal is to be on top of the podium. I know it's going to be very competitive. We have a lot of young guys who are awesome hurdlers, just like myself, and it's going to be very challenging. I definitely look forward to the competition. Looking forward to have fun, looking forward to represent as best as I can. But of course, my aim is to be on the top. That's what my focus is on. Of course, I know what I need to do to get there, which is make sure that my technique is right, make sure I'm healthy, right? And you know, once I'm healthy and I can put everything together, then I can reach to this goal. So the focus is on winning, on the journey to get to winning.
At 31 years old, Parchment became the oldest male athlete to win the 110-meter hurdles in Olympic history with the gold, arriving 9 years after he secured bronze in London. Parchment says he has adopted Shelley and Fraser Price's formula for longevity.
You know Shelley and Fraser Price, she's a big role model to most of us, myself. And you know, I look at how she prepares herself and how she's able to remain consistent, you know what I mean, over the years. And that's one of the things I look at and see how I can apply those aspects to my own life. Because I realize, you know, if I want to be consistent as an athlete, I need to look at somebody who has been doing it, who has done it really well, and try to apply the same thing You know, I think I've been improving quite a bit on that. And see the results. You know, so if I can keep on building, then I can even do better going forward.
Hansel Parchment. Finally in sports at this time, Fred Curley, Christian Coleman and Johan Blake are set to meet in the men's 100 meters at the second Wonder Diamond League meeting in Shanghai, Zhengzhou on April 27. All three men have tasted World 100 meters championship success. Curley dominated the 100 meters in 2022, winning the World Championships title in Eugene and taking silver in the 2021 Olympic Games in Tokyo. At Doha Championships in 2019, Coleman took the World 100 meters title, and he has certainly started the 2024 season brightly, taking his second world indoor 60 meters title in Glasgow. Few athletes in history have been as good for as long as a two-time Olympic and world champion Johan Blake. Only former training mate Usain Bolt has ran quicker than the 9.69 seconds that Blake has clocked. He did so in Lausanne in 2012, a year after he became the youngest to win the 100 meters title in Daegu. The Jamaican also owns the second quickest time over 200 meters. He did 19.26 seconds in that event, the second fastest ever. The trio boast in total 4 Diamond League titles, with Coleman having also taken the 100 meters crown in 2018, Curley 2021, and he also won the 400 meters in 2018. Their impending arrival accompanies a star-studded lineup with major names in other events, including Mundi Duplantis and Mutas Bashim. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this bag. So good, it's just so good. Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school? And now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less,
or 2 or 3,
at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661-2.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening. Welcome to Public Opinion. I am your host for this evening, Mahiri Stewart. And welcome, folks. Another Public Opinion is upon us. Special good evening to our friends on YouTube. We invite you to also weigh in on tonight's Public Opinion. All right, so last week, as you know, on Fridays, we have our frivolous questions, our Frivolous Friday questions. And due to that Frivolous Friday question, we didn't get to ask you guys for your reaction to the Prime Minister's budget presentation on Thursday. So that's the question we've posed to you today. Today in Public Opinion, we ask you, the public, what is your main takeaway from the Prime Minister's budget presentation?
For me, it's really the opportunity that they are providing through art. I look at it and say, somebody who's working minimum wages, it better them stop and go to art and build their capacity. And when they leave art, they will be earning much, much more than minimum wage.
The main thing that was taken from the Prime Minister's budget speech was that
This is a caring government that is trying to put Jamaica in the best possible shape physically. That is such an important thing at this time, to get the country in a position where we can shoot off. Prosperity can come down, trickle down to everybody in the society. He tried to touch on every subject matter that you can think of that affect the country. He was excellent. He was wonderful. Well put together.
All right, folks, that's what we have on our that's the audio we've received for today's public opinion. But let's take a look on social media, right? So on Instagram we have 66 comments. Can't go through all of them, but let's see what we can read for y'all today. Blessed 876 says, best budget presentation in the history of Jamaica. God chosen vessel is here to stay. All right, so people are saying that it's a very good budget presentation, but let's get into the specifics. Yes, the man from COP says best budget presentation I've ever heard. The heart is now the heart of everything training wise. Better access to housing, a tax refund of 20k, threshold continues to climb towards the mark of 3 million. Hope for corner youths there is for the future. Listen it too much, the country is in good hands. Insta Elon says he went to the heart of it by ensuring that especially younger people get a fair chance at becoming productive members of our society and to realize their goals and aspirations. This is the kind of budget that will deliver the real dividends within the next 5 to 10 years. Imagine the benefits of a better skilled workforce and a burgeoning generation of the new members of Jamaica's entrepreneurial class. All right, what else do we have here? The main takeaway is the raft of measures introduced to aid in youth development, says name Don. What else we have here? What else do we have here? J Brown 2350 says, my biggest takeaway is the Heart, Trust and Care program. It's revolutionary. Yeah, we keep going. Real Dam Dam says something for everyone was in the budget. Yeah. Isaac Morrison says there is so much for everyone from the child to the pensioner. Colleen Lonely 933 says I am elated. Everything stood out for me, but if I should pick one, it's the one about taking the youths off the street and giving them training. 10 out of 10 I give to the PM. Tash Joseph says the Heart Trust my son will benefit from this. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at X, formerly known as Twitter. What are the people saying over there? Colleen Williams says everything, but my takeaway is the removal of the student loan guarantor, which I believe was announced by Dr. Clark, and the incentives for the students who sign up for Heart. Well done, PM. Tevin Johnson says, my main takeaway is the free access to Heart, 15 grand for transportation and $15,000 a week stipend. So in total, the government is giving you $67,000 a month just for you to learn a trade. I also like how the opportunity for us to own a home is becoming a little easier. Lizzie Levy says, incentives for young people to upskill at Heart. Also, NHT allowing young people to sell back starter units and qualify for a second loan when they're ready to buy a bigger place. Yeah? Prosperity Train says, the main takeaway is the number of programs geared towards youth and education, which also includes the funding allocated to assist them in achieving their education and gaining access to the necessary tools for their work. All right, let's take a look at what we got on Facebook. That's the last one we're going to check, and then we go straight to the YouTube comments. Remember, the question is, what is your main takeaway from Prime Minister Andrew Holness's budget presentation? It's taking a while to load. It doesn't normally take this long, yeah? All right, here we are, folks. Here we are. So, we have 14 comments on Facebook. Right? Philip Jackson says, empowering our people to go get themselves accredited at Heart and in return, building a stronger economy. Okay. CJ says, excellent presentation. There's something for everyone. Now, they can't say the government isn't doing anything for them. All right, what else do we have here? Annette Wheeler says, best ever budget apart from I was looking for GCT to drop. All right. Natalie Winter says pending improvements in the water sector and improvements in the educational process. All right, there we go. And last but not least, what else do we have here? All right. So let's take a look at the YouTube chat. YouTubers, what says you? What's your biggest takeaway from our Prime Minister, Andrew Holness? What's your biggest takeaway from his budget presentation last Thursday? I'm scrolling up and I'm seeing a lot of arguing. You guys are going back and forth with each other, yeah? But let's get some tangible answers that I can read out loud, yes? Donovan Phillips says, best budget I've ever listened to. Only the young Jamaicans now to take up the opportunities the government laid out for them to better themselves. David Hill says, I loved the Jamaica 60 Hope program. That's a forward-thinking plan for the next generation. I hope it can continue through all administrations. Oh, here we go. Grounded on the Tarmac says, my main takeaway is that he has said nothing to disabled Jamaicans. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, Full Disclose says, PM announcement about renewable energy loan is a huge initiative to reduce energy bill and greenhouse gas emission. Okay. Maureen Price says, I was looking for NIS to raise. George Stewart says, nothing from Andrew. Angela Jones says, 10 out of 10. All right, what else we got here? Okay, again, full disclosure, I just read that one. Any other answers here in PubUp? Again, I'm seeing so much arguing. So much arguing in our YouTube comments. But I ain't seeing no tangible answers, yeah? What else we got here? Still nothing. That's kind of wild, I can't lie, folks. Should I read more from the Twitter and the Instagram? Because I'm not seeing anything here. Yeah? Ooh, alright. Errol Murray says the best government ever. Heart Trust. I'm scrolling up and I'm scrolling down. I'm gonna give you all one more chance. Let me refresh the page because it's actually not scrolling right now. What do I got here? Okay. Here we go. Bali says all budget that every demographic has benefit from for all age groups. Douglas Rogers says, I was captivated for the 5 hours. Heart is the best thing for me. All right. And Horatio McClure says, most significant news from the PM is student loans. Marquise Alfonso cites the Heart program as his main takeaway from our Prime Minister's budget presentation. And all right, folks, there we have it. So it's time to wrap up here. Thank you guys for participating in another edition of Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Stay tuned for the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Good evening, you're tuned into the Business Report right here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The EU has announced investigations into some of the biggest tech firms in the world over uncompetitive practices. Alphabet, which owns Google, Meta, and Apple, are all being looked into for potential breaches of the Digital Market Act introduced in 2022. If they are found to have broken the rules, the firms can face huge fines of up to 10% of their annual turnover. The EU antitrust boss announced the investigations on Monday. It comes 3 weeks after the EU fined Apple £1.5 billion for breaking competition laws over music streaming. Meanwhile, the United States accused Apple of monopolizing the smartphone market in a landmark lawsuit against the tech giant introduced last week. In its investigation announced today, the EU says it believes Apple and Alphabet are limiting anti-steering. This means they are making it difficult for apps to tell users about ways to pay less for their services outside of using app stores own payment methods. And in the United Kingdom, a new report says the number of people leaving the workforce due to long-term sickness is at its highest since the 1990s. The Resolution Foundation says adults economically inactive due to ill health rose from 2.1 million in July 2019 to a peak of 2.8 million in October 2023. It's the longest sustained rise since 1994 to 1998, when records began. The government said its recent budget measures are estimated to boost the labor force by 300,000 workers. The Foundation's report comes after data revealed that more than a fifth of UK adults were not looking for work. People at either end of the age spectrum had the highest proportion of those out of work due to ongoing illnesses. The rise of long-term sickness leaves the UK as the only G7 economy not to have returned to its pre-pandemic employment rate, according to the foundation. And in foreign exchange, the Jamaican dollar closes trading this evening, selling for an average $154.58 against the benchmark US dollar. The Jamaican dollar closes trading this evening, selling for an average $115.94 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican dollar closes trading this evening, selling for an average $197.91 against the British pound. That's the business report. Stay tuned.
Yes, me get the last cheese. Taste the beat. Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have cheese. Taste the beat. But one day we're getting a bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Serve, sell me some bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Why, this looking nice with some tasty cheese. Taste the beat. Could I have some cheese, please? Taste the beat. Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy. Tasty beats with tasty cheese.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
There's a new gym on the block. Listen up, Portmore. Express Fitness is coming to the Big Buy Plaza. Get ready to sweat at our brand new location. And here's the best part. To celebrate, we're offering an unbeatable deal of only $1,000 for the first month. That's right. For only $1,000, you'll have access to state-of-the-art equipment and a community that's all about reaching your fitness goals. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Head down to Express Fitness at Big Buy Plaza in Portmore, where your journey to a better you begins.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again.
Live here halfway through in Olympic finals.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noblin Williams-Mills coming, McCrory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noblin Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment! Let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph, and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Talk about love.
For years, he has been the sole provider for the ladies. But then he found a good woman and feels like 100 million.
He's like I want 100 million.
Is it fair to say we should leave his business alone?
Chatty, Mount Amasi, mix up.
He was just that standout, outstanding voice from Altogether Sing. But he's moved mountains and miles away from those days. Well, he's been there before, and now he's stronger. But does he know better? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, who is the real Romain Virgo?
Why you not allow people business?
Find out.
Leave people business alone.
Just like that.
People business alone.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Listeners, get ready to make a difference. Nationwide 90 FM will broadcast from the sanitization program for vendors at Montego Bay's Charles Gordon Market on Tuesday, March 26. Join Cliff Hughes online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we spread awareness about proper waste disposal and composting. Don't miss the opportunity to learn, engage, and be entertained. Let's create a cleaner future together. That's a live broadcast of the sanitization program for vendors during Cliff Hughes Online, Tuesday, March 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. See you there. This broadcast is brought to you by the WPM Waste Management Limited. Jamaica's beauty is our duty.
History for tomorrow. Yesterday's narrative, today's guide. Join us as we discuss the people, places, and events that have influenced the world as it is today. Remember, knowing your history is essential to understanding the present. So join us on History for Tomorrow, Saturdays at 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats Mondays at 9:30 p.m.
Some of the smartest dummies can't read the language of Egyptian mummies on a flag or a moon. And can't find food for the starving tummies. Pay no mind to the youths, 'cause it's not
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Good evening. It's 19 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. You're listening to Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And there's a development in the controversy surrounding how the Parliament is treating reports from the Auditor General in terms of their tabling. If you have been following the news, this issue exploded again last week in the presentation of the opposition leader, Mark Golding, in the budget debate, when he accused the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, of behaving in a partisan manner in failing to table the reports from the Auditor General in a timely way. And of course, that led to the angry response of the Prime Minister and the government benches walking out of the Parliament, bringing to an abrupt end Mr. Golding's budget presentation. That was unprecedented in the history of the modern Parliament of Jamaica. Now, and since then, the debate has been raging over what is the procedure to be followed, given the law. And this morning, we spoke with the Executive Director of JAMP, that's the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, Jeanette Calder, who posited the view that the Speaker was not interpreting correctly the law as it relates to when and the procedures for tabling these reports from the Auditor General. We got a different view from Attorney at Law, Government Senator Shireen Golding Campbell this morning, saying that the Speaker was following the law. That was this morning. This evening, we have been able to get a copy of a letter dated last Friday, March 22, from the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, to the Clerk to the Houses of Parliament, Miss Valerie Curtis. And in that letter, the Speaker tore into the Clerk, saying that she has failed to comply with the Speaker's ruling and that she has been derelict, gross derelict, or accused her of gross dereliction of duty, yes, and as such has brought the institution of Parliament into disrepute by virtue of failing to adhere to the rulings of Parliament as to how these reports are to be handled. Now, this is a significant development.
Quite the escalation.
Yes. And first of all, here is a letter voiced by Mahiri Stewart that was sent last Friday, March 22, by the Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, to the Clerk of the House, Valerie Curtis.
Failure to comply with Speaker's rulings. This letter supersedes previous correspondences dated March 21, 2024, to address a serious matter regarding the caption. Reference is made to the sitting of the House of Parliament on November 7, 2023. Reference is also made to letter from the Auditor General dated December 28, 2023. Reference is made to letter from you dated January 8, 2024, responding to the letter from the Auditor General. The aforementioned references underscore the point that subsequent reports received from the Auditor General were in breach of the ruling made in the House of Representatives on November 7, 2023. Additionally, your failure to adhere to the said ruling and applicable procedures amount to a gross dereliction of duty and as such has brought the institution into disrepute. The accusations from some stakeholders could not be ignored, and I was alarmed to discover that the following matters were submitted to the Parliament by the Auditor General in breach of Section 13A of the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act and or Section 30 of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, namely 1. The Auditor General's Special Audit Report of the Financial Services Commission, Human Resources and Procurement Process under cover letter dated January 15, 2024. Our records also show that this same document was previously received in the Parliament's registry on January 2, 2024, and that you responded under letter dated January 8, 2024, outlining the Auditor General the correct procedure to be followed. 2. The Auditor General's Special Audit Report of the Tax Administration Jamaica, Leasing Arrangements under cover letter dated January 29, 2024. As the Speaker of the House, I have a responsibility to ensure that there is adherence to established laws, protocols, and guidelines, inclusive of rulings in the Honorable House of Representatives. It is essential that, in your capacity as the Chief Administrator with responsibility for adherence to procedures, you recognize the authority of the presiding officers and respect the decisions made in the House. The rulings of the Speaker are integral to maintaining order and the execution of the administrative procedures in the House. Your failure to comply with the agreed and established procedure has undermined the effectiveness of the institution. I wish to also emphasize that you have existing knowledge of the ruling and the actions to be taken in this matter, as the Special Audit Report of the Financial Services Commission, Human Resources and Procurement Procedures was appropriately addressed under your cover letter to the Auditor General, dated January 8, 2024. It is imperative that you prepare a schedule that shows the details of all the reports received from the Integrity Commission and Auditor General since my election as Speaker of the House on September 26, 2023. The schedule must outline the date the reports were received by the Registry, date delivered to the Speaker, the date tabled in the Parliament, the relevant sections of the Act under which they were tabled, and the date of any correspondence to the Auditor General relating to said report. This information should be submitted no later than Wednesday, March 27, 2024 at noon to facilitate your request for an extension. I am also requesting your assistance in communicating this information to the relevant staff to ensure compliance and adherence to the established rules and procedures, and in particular the Deputy Clerk, the Legislative Council, along with the respective secretaries. A copy of this letter is to be placed on your personal file. I look forward to your cooperation and support. Yours truly, Honourable Mrs. Juliet Holness, MP, Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mahiri. So where does this leave us now?
Well, there's still some questions to be answered that I believe only the Speaker of the House could answer in relation to what was the established procedure that she is suggesting Ms. Curtis has breached.
Laid down according to her letter at the sitting of the House of Parliament on November 7.
Yes. I mean, I have spoken with some people off the record, and I understand that she had requested that Ms. Curtis send back those documents as she had relayed in that letter based on the fact that the proper procedures was not followed. But as I said, that is off the record, but I still believe Mrs. Holness herself will have to address some of the allegations she lays down in that letter to Ms. Curtis.
And I expect her to do so tomorrow.
Well, I spoke with her, I believe it was Friday, when she said that all would be made clear at the next sitting of Parliament.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. But this is, you don't accuse the Clerk of the House of gross dereliction of duty lightly.
In my history covering Parliament, which, albeit brief, 5 years, I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine we're trying to get a number of people to react, but that is proving quite challenging. We'll have more certainly in the coming days, including tomorrow, because tomorrow the House will resume the budget debates. In fact, the debate will close tomorrow with a presentation of the Finance Minister, Dr. Nigel Clark. He is set to close the debate tomorrow. But this issue will loom large at the sitting of the Parliament tomorrow afternoon.
I'm sure it will be the first thing Mrs. Holness will address when she takes up the gavel tomorrow.
Okay. We're going to move on now to the president of Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, Devon Taylor, says the government's plan to develop Fantasy Beach Park in Priory St. Anne is not enough to satisfy the need for public access to beaches in the parish. Prime Minister Holness announced the planned development, even as he told the country that the government has crafted a beach access and management policy.
That policy is to be tabled at the next parliamentary sitting. Fantasy Beach Park is to be developed similarly to Harmony Beach Park in St. James, but Mr. Taylor says more access is needed.
When you take one situation here in St. Anne, they're talking about development of the Priory Beach. Now, if you look at St. Anne, one of the parishes with the most, tourism product, you cannot have one beach in St. Anne to serve the entire parish of St. Anne. What St. Anne need are conservation easement over the lands so St. Anne people can access their beaches. And so, that's not a compromise. We need access to our foreshore. From our court cases and from our advocacy, that proper and progressive legislation will come into being that gives Jamaicans general and unfettered rights of access, to our beaches.
Devon Taylor, president of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement. beach access has been a growing concern for Jamaicans. The movement is currently engaged in a court battle over access to the Blue Lagoon Beach in Portland.
That matter is set to continue in the Portland Parish Court on Monday. And later this week, another court case regarding public access to the Bob Marley Beach will resume at Sutton Street Court in Kingston. Well, we are now joined by founder of Jamaica Environment Trust, Diana Macaulay, and the president of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, Devon Taylor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hi, Devon.
How you doing, Diana?
Starting with you, Madam Macaulay, your make of what Mr. Taylor has suggested regarding the lack of beach access in St. Anne.
Well, he's right. It's true in St. Anne, and it's true on the entire coastline that there is no guaranteed right of access to our coastline to Jamaicans. This has been the situation since the Beach Control Act, which is a 1950s act. And although many have tried to get this rectified, it has never yet been rectified. And I just like to say, though, that I agree that, these announcements that come from time to time about some beach being developed for public access, and that the model of that development is used as the recent Harmony Beach Park in Montego Bay, which is, very lavish to my mind, and, is going to require a lot of maintenance and therefore a lot of fees. I think that we need to have different images of different kinds of beaches and different kinds of uses for beaches that are accessible to all Jamaicans. Not every beach has to have every possible thing, Not every beach has to be a venue where food is served, where there has to be garbage collection, where there have to be bathrooms. There could be access to the coastline that is simply for the pleasure of enjoying nature. And one thing in Devon's clip that you played that I want to disagree with him about is this idea of unfettered access. And I think the access has to be free and allowed, but we also sometimes behave badly on our beaches, and that is true. It runs throughout the society. It runs from a hotel to a government agency, to individuals, to whoever uses beaches. We sometimes are very hard on our beaches and destroy them in the process. So I just want to caution that, yes, we need access. I am behind that, but we also have to start understanding that beaches need our better care.
Devon Taylor, what do you mean by unfettered access?
Well, let me start here by saying Jamaica is 494 miles around, and currently we only have access to 2.8 miles of it. That is data coming out of National Environmental Planning Agency. So we have like 0.6% access to the coastline. This is 2024. That is not something that we should really accept as a nation. And so, with that said, this is what we look at when we say more access is needed. Okay. Now, what do I say to unfettered access? Is access without any kind of preconditions. Now, when it comes on to conservation,
when you say precondition, do you mean cost specifically?
We're talking about cost. We're talking about what if we look at one of the conditions that was laid out in the beach access management plan that was proposed, in which they said Jamaicans would have what is called qualified rights. And those rights would be, conditional based on maybe lease that the government give to a hotel or to some other, development that is on the coastline. So that would supersede the rights of the Jamaican people. I don't think we need to really enter into those kind of arrangements, because those, put us into a separate but equal kind of situation, which is just not constitutional. You cannot have a beach for tourists and a beach for Jamaicans. It's just a beach, and we do not want any kind of segregated product in this Jamaica.
Hello, Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Taylor?
Hello, Mr. Taylor. Hello, Mr. Taylor.
You're not hearing me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Continue. Yes, you were saying.
Did you hear my explanation around unfettered rights?
No.
Okay.
No, so what we're talking about is, rights without preconditions. And what are these preconditions that we're talking about? Are conditions which we know that were laid out in the proposal in the Beach Access Management Plan that says, Jamaicans would have qualified rights. And those qualified rights would really, be dependent if the government gives a lease to a hotel or to a villa that they said they have fundamental right. They have the rights to use the beach for their guests. And what we're saying, we want to get away from a separate but equal kind of situation where you have a hotel beach and you have a beach for Jamaicans. Those kind of things have been tried many places. They've tried in South Africa, they've tried in the United States, and they do not work. So we just do not need a segregated beach product in Jamaica. We need Jamaicans to have the fundamental rights to walk on their beaches and to use and enjoy their beaches.
But Mr. Taylor, you understand, I believe Ms. Macaulay also brought it up, this matter of maintenance of those beaches. And let's be fair, many Jamaicans, when given, as you put it, unfettered access, they don't leave those facilities in what we can consider a reputable state.
No, I'm not going to label my Jamaicans as litterbug, and I'm not going to use these kind of, language to say that Jamaicans are nasty and messy. I'm not going there because that's kind of a discriminatory argument against the Jamaican people. Now, the state of Jamaica needs to do a better job in terms of how it deals with its garbage and its rubbish, how it cleans its gullies. Absolutely, citizens have a responsibility to clear their mess and move it from beaches. Absolutely, problem exists across the country. I mean, on our streets, you see garbage pile up in our neighborhoods because of non-clearance by the government. Now, are we labeling the government as a litterbug? Are we labeling the government, in those kind of lights? I'm not doing that, and I will not do that to my Jamaican people, our Jamaican people, by saying that they are nasty, and as a result, they do not deserve to use these beaches. These are fundamental discriminatory arguments that we're not going to. We can put the proper arrangements in place, the proper infrastructures in place, so that beaches do not need to be littered.
So then that suggests that the state of the beaches should be to the cost of the state, and that the average citizen should not worry about this maintaining the cleanliness of these beaches?
No. I mean, listen, beaches need to be returned to municipal parish council. Beaches does not need to be managed by central government. We need to come back down to the parish council as the way it was. It also needs to come into the communities. Every beach in Jamaica is before a community. All right, we need to develop new relationship between community and beaches, and we can start solve these problems. If we start take this kind of big macro view of beaches, and management of beaches, we're going to get ourselves into these issues. These needs to be community-based management as to, as to how we deal with beach management in Jamaica and the removal of garbage or management of waste.
And Ms. Macaulay, let's be honest, some Jamaicans, I mean, we can't get around the word, some Jamaicans are, I'm just going to use the word nasty, and they do not maintain things as they should. Do you believe, as you've suggested, that unfettered access may not go the way? What is the middle ground here?
Well, I wouldn't use that language either. That Devon has, rejected it, and that you. I don't use it either, right? But I do think that we have an expectation, and as I said, it runs across the society. I'm not speaking of any particular sector of the society. We have an expectation that things will be managed for us. That we have not much to do with the management of places, and I'm just saying that we need some rules, and it's not just garbage, It's, for instance, things like removal of beach vegetation. It's things like parking on beaches. It's things like washing in water sources that get into beaches. There's a lot of stuff that harms beaches, separate and apart from garbage, that I'm not sure we have a wide understanding of. And we tend to kick back against those rules. So my feeling, my belief is that there does need to be access. Jamaicans need to have access to their own coastline. This happens in many parts of the world. It's not qualified, as Devon has said. It's a right. But there are also responsibilities that come along with that right. And that's really all I'm reminding us, that there are these responsibilities. I think having worked on this for many, many years, more than a decade for sure, I think the question really, there's two sort of underlying issues. One of them you've put your finger on, which is the question of cost. The government does not really want to undertake the cost of maintenance of the beaches. And once there's a fee, that is necessarily exclusionary to some. And the second thing is what has been perceived as the conflict with the tourism industry. And I think it is the second aspect that is the most important to solve. Because I do agree with Devon that this idea that the tourists go here and the Jamaicans go here is wrong. It should never have been allowed to reach a stage it has got. And it does not happen in other countries of the Caribbean. So that, I think, is one of the hurdles. And I know that in one of the earlier versions of this beach management access plan, which has had many different names, the question of a right of access to the coastline was termed by the tourism industry as tourism suicide. I think that's really what is underlying our skittishness about allowing access to our own people.
Mr. Taylor?
So let's deal with the elephant in the room. It's the tourism industry. The tourism industry is expanding at an alarming rate.
Alarming?
Right? Yes, because we're seeing displacement of ordinary folks. All right? That is what's happening. We can point to Marmy Bay right here, a fishing beach, MMM, designated by NEPA. Fishing folks, vendors, everybody displaced in that space. We can see what's happening in Little Duns River. All right? We see what's happening in Scoopers.
Just a moment, Mr. Taylor. A lot of people don't understand some of the terms you use. When you say displaced, be more specific.
I'm meaning that a thriving fishing community, a thriving recreational, a thriving, using the beach for harvesting seaweed, swimming, recreational, everything, no longer can access these beaches.
Because?
Because of the development of a tourism product.
As in a
hotel, a guest house, a villa.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they have now been denied access.
They have now been denied access. All right?
Yes.
So what we're saying is that is the inconsideration of, what is happening, that the rights of the people, has now become trampled upon. And what should have happened is that a conservation easement should have been left so the community can still access the foreshore and use the space so it becomes really shared. I do not see why you should have a beach that we have been using for more than 200 years. And then you want to put a hotel there and the community cease to have access to that beach. I mean, what is it about Jamaican people that we cannot coexist in the same space? I fundamentally cannot. And it's something that I think, Jamaicans, we need to ask ourselves, who own Jamaican beaches? If the Beach Control Act of 1956 says the beach is vested in the Crown, the Crown, I understand, is Commissioner of Land, then it is the people's space. So if it's a public space, how can the Jamaican people cannot have, their right be honored to a public space? And you know what it is? It clashes with what is called land rights. So in Jamaica, you could buy a piece of land before the beach, you could fence it off, and you could lock the Jamaican people out. And so the Jamaican people are denied access to the beach because they do not have land rights. And that becomes a reparative justice issue in our own country that we have to deal with. So we have to fall upon prescriptive law that says if we've been using the track or the roadway for a minimum of 20 years, we need to now go to the court, which is a burdensome thing for communities. So most communities cannot afford to, hire an attorney and go into the court to now deal with their fundamental rights that they should have had. And that's why the legislation needs to change so Jamaicans don't have to go to court to fight for the right to go on a beach that they've been using for 100 years. There is some injustice in that we need to look into ourselves as leaders of this country, that cannot continue to be so.
Then Mr. Taylor, would it be... Well, so actually, Mrs. Macaulay, let me allow you. Go ahead.
Well, that is the third sort of major issue underlying this struggle, which is a question of access to beaches. Because, most Jamaican beaches are not long stretches of beach like, say, Negril or Bull Bay. Most Jamaican beaches are in small coves, right, where the land curves and the conditions have been right to build up sand, and therefore access to those beaches has been allowed to develop over private land, right? And there are many examples in other countries where, they're private property, right? But the private landowner has got to provide pathways for access to the beach. I was just in the Oregon coast in the U.S., and it's an example of that. And there was a big fight about it when this happened, as developers sought to exclude people from the beaches. But now it's enshrined in law, where there has to be access to beaches, which is through private land, and people can therefore get to enjoy their coastline. That's kind of the third underlying, I guess, issue that I think has so far not been tackled by the state. And there is a belief, we're a low trust and in some ways very fearful community where we are afraid of crime, we are afraid of, losing our property rights, we're afraid of each other, if I can put it like that. And I think these are the things that have been in the way of settling this matter. And like so many things in Jamaica, we have allowed instead of settling it in 1960, or 1962, or 1970, a long time ago when these problems were evident, we've let it go on and on and on and on until now we have a situation. And I agree with Devon's use of the word alarming in regards to the expansion of the tourism industry. Now we have a situation where there is just less and less places that a Jamaican can go on their coastline without having to pay.
Mr. Taylor,
even if you are prepared to pay, there are still few places.
Mr. Taylor, you were in court, as in Jabem were in court today over the Blue Lagoon Beach matter?
Yes, but I'd also like to add before I move on.
No, hold on, please. We don't have all time. We are running out of time. And I have to get what happened in court today. We weren't there.
Yes, well, we have to go back on June the 17th. One of the defendants, we are having some difficulty in serving that defendant, which is Blue Oil Investment Limited, which is a company that is based in the Cayman Islands. And so, that is holding up the case to proceed. So the judge gave us some more time to try to find this defendant, to get them served so they can be a party to the case. But we're looking forward to, through this Prescriptive Right Act, to preserve the parochial road that leads into the Blue Lagoon, which is now, blocked, and we have been routed over private land who can remove their permission at any time and would have lost access to the Blue Lagoon. So, that's the kind of situation that faces the Jamaican
And you
public.
have another one coming up later this week in the Sutton Street Court?
We have the Bob Marley Beach. Again, in here is, a private interest that we're going up against, as well as the Commissioner of Lands, again, who, owns the tracks on the roadway, but have been used by the community for more than 60 years, that we want to preserve those tracks on roadways so we could continue to use that beach in perpetuity. So the question is that, why is the Jamaican people have to be taking its own government to court, to protect its rights to, beaches? And that is because, I think fundamentally, this Beach Control Act of 1956 needs to be repealed and replaced by a legislation that would give Jamaicans fundamental rights of access. That can solve the problem. We need to look at ourselves very favorably. There is nothing wrong with us Jamaican people. We can coexist on these beaches with anyone. We are not the worst, okay? And these kind of discriminatory argument that raises their head out there, and raises heads within the tourism industry space, and the tourism product, which is a product which is an enclave model, okay, and wants to siphon off these environmental spaces and block the public out, need to reconsider that. It's not going to work, okay, and it is discriminatory. And this is one of the things that we are very mindful of in this 2024, that these kind of vestiges of colonialism need to be removed, and we need to move with progressive legislation. That is conservation, at the basis of it. We would like to see the entire coastline around Jamaica become either a national park, You know what I mean? Then I talk about Oregon. Oregon name its entire coastline and highway. These make these things, you know, public. We could make them conservation easement. There are many tools that we can use to open up the spaces and cultivate a new relationship between Jamaica and the environment, because we're living in an era of climate change. But what we see happening in an extractive tourism model is total flattening of all the vegetation and the sand dunes that exist along the coastal space to create these kind of a tourism model that is not sustainable and protect us from rising sea level. So we are setting ourselves up for a degraded, coastal space that the Jamaican people will have to really deal with. And the tourism industry will suffer when we have an environment that is now damaged.
Thank you very much.
I can only say amen, brother, to that, Cliff.
Yes. Thank you very much, Diana Macaulay, Devon Taylor. Diana Macaulay, founder of Jamaica Environment Trust, and Devon Taylor, president of the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. This is Nationwide at 5.
Get up to $1 million off everything. With the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Price a splash, save cash, run, come catch the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Get up to $1 million off on your brand new Mitsubishi ASX or Pajero Sport with the Mitsubishi $1 million sale. Plus 3 years warranty, 2 years free servicing, and 1 year free Amber Tracker. Follow us on social media at Mitsubishi JA for more info. Hurry up and come get this deal while stocks last. Only at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Camp Road, Kingston, and Iron Shore Bay. Conditions apply.
Home is where you put down your roots. So at Sagicor Bank, we designed a mortgage with everything you need to own your home easier. Get up to 100% financing, fast processing time, up to $100,000 cash back to assist with expenses, a competitive interest rate, plus an unsecured loan of up to $2 million to go solar at home, and a special rate on home insurance. Let's help you put down your roots. Call 888-SAGICOR to apply for your Sagicor Bank mortgage. Conditions apply.
Importers, the Jamaica Customs Agency is revolutionizing your clearance experience as our contactless clearance process becomes mandatory on April 2, 2024. This process will facilitate the clearance of all non-commercial personal shipments at our seaports with a CIF value of less than $5,000 being inspected by customs without you or your agent present. You're encouraged to make your payments using our customs mobile app, JA Customs Connect. Fees payable to your shipping agent and warehouse operator remain applicable. For further information, contact your freight forwarder or email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jm or call 876-922-5140-8. The JCA's contactless clearance process is convenient, efficient, and secure. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Yes, me get the last cheese.
Taste the beat. Brothers and sisters, at the end of Easter service, we have cheese. Taste the beat. But one day we're getting a bun and cheese. Taste the beat. Serve, sell me some bun and cheese. Taste the beat.
Why, this looking nice with some tasty cheese.
Taste the beat. Could I have some cheese, please? Taste the beat. Make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy.
Taste the beat with tasty cheese.
Welcome deluxe. The cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this pack. So good, it's just so good. Welcome deluxe. The cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
National Baking Company, just so good.
Go crazy for this offer from Flow. Get a free Samsung phone and earbuds when you sign up for Flow Yard and Road for the special price of $4,999 plus GCT. Free is all the craze. This crazy offer won't last long. Visit discoverflow.co or your nearest Flow store for more info. Conditions apply.
You have dreams and goals for the future. You want to make an impact. The UWI Mona, the #1 ranked university in the Caribbean, will help you reach your full potential. Our students have gone on to make their mark in all areas, locally and globally. Industry leaders, heads of state, and Rhodes Scholars all got their start with us. Legacies are made at the UWI Mona. Start building yours. Apply by March 31st at mona.uwi.edu/apply.
18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Well, on the weekend, we saw the climax of the greatest boys and girls athletics championships on earth. Yes, at the National Stadium. It's the greatest on earth.
No, without a doubt.
Well, the boys from North Street Kingston College landed their 35th hold on the Mortimer Geddes Trophy. They retained their boys' crown, while for the girls, Edwin Allen secured a 10th title. Yes, it's the 113th staging of the Girls and Boys Athletics Championships. Casey scored 335 points to beat off the challenge of Jamaica College. They amassed 278 points after 5 days of action.
Well, Calabar finished third with 194 points, Excelsior fourth at 122, and rounding out the top five was St. Jago at 111.5 points. In the girls section, the Frankfield-based Edwin Allen scored 335.5 points to unseat Heidel, who ended second with 326.
St. Jago, the girls from Monk Street, 171. Homewood 149 and Wolmer's 128.5 points rounded out the top five. Casey ended the championships with a stunning performance to win the 4x4 relay, while Heidel did the same on the girls' side. Major sponsors Grace Kennedy paid a special tribute to the late track and field analyst Hubert Lawrence, who passed on February 23. We're now joined by Captain and Deputy Head Boy of Kingston College, Antoine Walkin, and Sprint Hurdles Coach, Kirk King. Congratulations, Mr. Walkin. Mr. King?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Although I hate to say it, but well done. Well done. Yes?
That's all like some Camperdown bitterness.
No. Excelsior.
Excelsior bitterness.
No. It's just, the competitive spirit. Yeah? But congratulations, Mr. King and Mr. Walkin. For you, Captain and Deputy Head Boy for Casey, 35 times now Casey is holding on to the Mortimer Geddes Trophy. Was this one of the sweetest?
Well, this is actually the ending of a three-peat for me. I have been on the last three champs teams, the 2022, 2023, and 2024 winning teams. I would always say that the next one is the sweetest, so I'd say that the 36th would be the sweetest one. However, this championship was special because the number 35, I think, it signifies just how great Kingston College is. A lot of schools can claim greatness, a lot of institutions can claim greatness, but not have the record to show for it. And so we have the record to show with 35 titles that we are the best school in track and field in Jamaica.
Yes. Mr. King?
Yes.
For you, the sprint hurdles, how did your boys perform?
Well, just a little correction. I'm not just the sprint hurdles coach. I'm the overall hurdles coach.
Oh, okay,
yes, so
sir.
the 4 hurdles and the sprint hurdles, working along with Mr. Richard Smith.
Well, tell me, how your boys performed?
Well, it was an amazing performance by the boys. They stepped up to the plate. I mean, the 4 hurdlers started out on Friday afternoon with an amazing performance. The Class 2s coming out with 3rd and 4th. The Class 1s came out and put on a show with one of your students, Excelsior, coming through to beat us on the line. But it was an excellent race.
Yes.
Yes.
The Eagles are back.
Yes, they're looking well.
Mm-hmm.
And with our sprint hurdles on Saturday, just amazing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, one of my athletes in Class 3 made a mistake in the semifinals. But we went on and got a silver medal in Class 3. Amazing. I mean, this young lad, Orandi, started hurdling this year and won a silver medal.
Oh,
in
raw
Class
talent.
2, yes. In Class 2, we got the Quinella. First and second with Tajanil Gordon.
Uh-huh.
And
You can't recall the names now. but
names are coming through.
Yeah, but tell me, Antoine. Yeah, it's your third time now at Champs and doing well. Yes?
Yes, sir.
What would you consider to be the outstanding performers at the Boys and Girls Championships on the boys' side this year?
That's a rough one, because I think every time an athlete really goes out there and gives their all, it should be given recognition. But I would pay keen attention to the 1500 meters for Class 1 boys. And you could equally talk about the steeplechase for Class 1 boys.
Mm-hmm.
And even the 400-meter hurdles for Class 1 boys, as Coach King said, and the 200 meters. But I would zoom in on the 1500 meters because it was a race where our athlete that won the race, Brian Tanui, he was tested the entire race. And we knew how bad he wanted to win. He knew how bad he wanted to win. He knew what the whispers were on the street.
Yeah.
He knew what they thought. And he faced all of the adversity this season, injuries, needles, and all of that stuff. So to see him go out there and be able to fight in that last stretch to win the race against a favorite was excellent. And it was the mark of champs for me.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. King? The outstanding performance for champs?
Well, for me, definitely it would be the Class 2 boys in the sprint hurdles. I mean, they were being doubted all season. Taj would have been one of the favorites, but it wasn't a sure thing. Jonathan Clark, who came second, came out of the blocks like a bullet, and they had to run him down. And he had a lot of doubts after not making the character team a few weeks before.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So that was my performance of the meet.
Yes. And Antoine, this was your final championships?
Yes, sir. It's been a great ride, and I can never begin to thank Kingston College for all that they've done for me in the past 3 years. The opportunity that they've afforded me, not only to compete on the highest levels of junior competition, but to break national records for the Turks and Caicos Islands, and to get on a bigger platform in the region. So it was my final attempts. It was a great one. Always great to go out on top. And it was a privilege to lead this team this year.
And you're from the Turks and Caicos Islands?
Yes, sir, I am.
How long have you been at Kingston College?
I've been at Kingston College 4 years now.
4 years. And those 4 years, how would you characterize them?
Kingston College is not just an institution. It's a family. It's a brotherhood. And it was something that it didn't take long for me to learn. People always joke about bleeding purple, but it's really a true thing. The Fortis spirit is something that you're indoctrinated with as you go in the halls. It's a belief that you have to have to be a student at Kingston College. You have to believe in the fact that brave men will fall, but it's the ones who don't yield that are truly great men, right? And Kingston College is all about building young men for the future, building young men who will make positive contributions to society. That is what our school was founded on 99 years ago. And so I have the utmost respect for my institution, and I wish that Kingston College be great for the rest of its days.
What will you go on to doing now? Because you're about to graduate.
Yes, sir. I am headed to university to study architecture and political science.
Where?
Well, we're not sure yet. We're still fielding some offers, feeling out some schools. I like Howard University a lot. I like the University of Miami a lot. And there are a couple others that are there on the list as well. But we're just looking for a university that has the academic prowess that I'm looking for, as well as the athletic prowess.
And why did you choose to come to KC?
I have been watching champs for most of my life. And when you watch the fans, right, when you watch the spirit that goes behind that school. And when I was growing up, Calabar was the team to beat really and truly then, with those teams with Oblique Civil, Christopher Taylor, those 2010 Calabar boys. And no matter what, year after year, even when KC came second, those fans came out there. And it always amazed me. I said, how is it that these people have such faith in one institution, one organization, regardless of the outcome, and they continue to cheer no matter how many points they were down on the last day? And it enticed me. And so I'd always heard about the purple power, the Fortis spirit, and it was something that I said, if I was ever given the opportunity, I would embrace it. And I was given that opportunity in 2020, pushed to 2021 thanks to the pandemic, and I never looked back.
Oh, good. Just Mr. King, yeah. You how long have you been coaching at KC?
I have been coaching at KC from 2007.
Wow.
My first championship was 2009.
Yes.
And I stopped for a while to do some studies. And I came back in 2018, about 2 months before the champs. And we won in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we kept on winning. I think we lost once. But coaching KC has opened a lot of doors for me. I mean, the exposure, leading winning teams. It's an excellent experience.
Yeah.
And are there any takeaways, any lessons learned from this 113th sitting of the Boys and Girls Champs?
Well, there are always something to learn, you know. Even in winning, in losing especially, there's something to learn. You have to take the negatives, turn them into positives, let them motivate you. A lot of hiccups would have taken place during this champ. Maybe a lot of persons would have think that KC won this easily. It wasn't easy. A lot of things behind the door took place, a lot of injuries that we had to make decisions and come through.
Well, congratulations again, Sport King and Captain Walkin. Yes, all the best. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good. After the break, Edwin Allens, Tony and Beckford, co-captain Monique Stewart, and head coach Michael Dyke.
The Integrity Commission Statutory Declaration form has changed. Download the new form and file securely within your organization before March 31. The time by the Integrity Commission is
7:30.
There's a new gym on the block. Listen up, Portmore. Express Fitness is coming to the Big Buy Plaza. Get ready to sweat at our brand new location. And here's the best part. To celebrate, we're offering an unbeatable deal of only $1,000 for the first month. That's right. For only $1,000, you'll have access to state-of-the-art equipment and a community that's all about reaching your fitness goals. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Head down to Express Fitness at Big Buy Plaza in Portmore, where your journey to a better you begins.
Good evening. We're talking about the 113th staging of the Boys and Girls Athletic Championships, which concluded just over the weekend. We just had with us the KC, the winners on the boys' side, and we're now going to be joined by Edwin Allen, the girls' champions. We have with us the co-captain, Tony Ann Beckford, as well as the other co-captain from Edwin Allen, Monique Stewart. I understand they're both using the same phone. So, Tony Ann, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine. How are you?
So, I just want to ask you, Tony Ann, your reaction.
She's asking you, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. My apologies. Doing quite well. Stunning performance for the girls in the championships. I want to get your reaction. How are you feeling after that major victory?
I mean, we're excited. I'm excited, given that we lost last year. So coming back on top, where we belong, feels good.
It's the 10th time that the girls from Frankfield are prevailing at champs. This time, 9 points separated you from the girls at Ferry as Heidel? Yeah? Was this one the toughest of them all?
Yes, I could say it's the toughest, because last year they won by 2 points. That was hard, and they won. This time, it was just as hard as last year, but the only outcome is that we won 9.5 points. It's the toughest one.
What is it about the girls at Edwin Allen? Why you all have been doing so well at champs? What is it?
I think it's the program, Coach Dyke program. It's a very good program. Yeah, that's it. The program, good program.
Yeah, what about the program? What is it about the program? What is he, that madman, Michael Dyke? What is he doing at Edwin Allen?
I mean, I can't tell you the secret ingredient. It's nothing. It's not. It's nothing. It's nothing illegal, but it's a good program, as you can see.
Yes.
But I personally can't describe the program because I do not know anything about how.
Well,
to
let him
coach a
describe
team.
it. Let him
Yes,
describe
the
it.
right person.
Madman Michael Dyke, congratulations. What is it about your program at Edwin Allen where you keep on doing this year after year?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Congratulations, sir. What is it about the program you're doing at Edwin Allen?
It's a program that we use to develop our youngsters, to get them to another level and also to enhance their future development.
Yes, but what is it about it that why you keep on producing champions?
Well, we ensure that whenever you get into this program, the first thing we call for them, so winning becomes an habit. And we would have done all the necessary things legally to develop young athletes, young student athletes into winners and, good future athletes for our country.
Mm-hmm.
I realize the digging, but I don't want to indulge too much into our top secret.
To keep the secrets to himself.
All right. But tell me, Mr. Dyke, your recruitment, is it that you get naturally gifted girls at Edwin Allen, or you deliberately go about, identifying talent? What do you look for? How do you do it?
Well, we would have gotten a lot of the girls would have, based on their natural talent, would have selected Edwin Allen as their first choice of school. And there are others that we would have identified and, encourage the parents to send them to the school based on the program we have and we know what we can do to enhance their future development.
Mr. Dyke, there are some concerns of this matter of recruiting student athletes from one institution to the next in terms of satisfying the needs for these very competitive champs. How do you respond to those concerns?
Well, most of our, I would say 99% of our student athletes would have come to the rank from class 4. So they would have started grade 7. Now, most of the others who would have come from another school, it's an agreement with their parents who would have, based on the program that they acknowledge that is taking place at Edwin Allen, would request for the transfer to the school.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those what is so-called small schools, they just don't have the resources or the technical efficiency to help some of these youngsters.
Mm-hmm. So you believe it's a net positive?
Yes, it does, because they are humans and they would want to have a future just like anyone else who is in another school.
Mm-hmm.
And the sort of exposure that they would have gotten. For example, some of these students will have gotten a chance to go even to the pen relays, get into the national program, and get into a program where you have even good nutrition program, because that's a critical factor.
Mm-hmm. Tony Ann, you tell me the events you competed in and how did you do?
I competed in the 400-meter hurdles and the 400-meter flat. I came second in the 400-meter, and I came first in the 400-meter hurdles.
Wow. The 400-meter hurdles is said to be one of the most physically demanding of events. I hope I'm right on that, Coach Dyke. That's what I've heard over the years.
Yes, it is.
Yes. How did you adjust to it, Tony Ann?
Well, it wasn't an easy adjustment, but I love the hurdles, and I have a very good coach who know exactly what to do to get me there. And the 400 helped me also. That's where Michael Dye come in. Like, he did the background work, the 400 go with the 4 hurdle.
Yes.
So the background helped with the 400. So, yeah, basically both of them work together.
Is this your final year champs, Tony Ann?
Yes, it is. Sadly, it is.
Oh, sadly. How long you been competing at champs?
I've been competing 3 years.
Ah. And where do you go on to now? What's your next move?
Hopefully, at university in Kentucky. Hopefully.
Kentucky? In the United States?
Yes, sir.
What will you be studying?
For now, I'm doing general studies in high school, but over there it's a different facility, different programs.
Yeah.
I have no set studies that I say yes I'm gonna do, or I'm into science, or I'm into anything. The only subject I know that I really like is history. So when I get there, I will figure it out.
Yeah. Why did you choose Kentucky?
I mean, when Kentucky reached out, other schools reach out just the same. But when Kentucky reached out, it felt more welcoming and felt more like home. A friend said to me that when you're choosing, it's going to feel you're going to say, oh, I don't know what I'm going to choose because there's so many options. But when you do choose, you're going to feel like, yeah, this is the one, and this is home. And they made me feel like that is home.
Yeah.
Monique Stewart, are you there?
Okay, thank you very much.
She is.
All right, but
You're
thank
welcome.
you. All the best, Tony Ann.
Thank you.
Good. Monique?
Hello, good night.
Good evening, Monique. Co-captain Edwin Allen, what are your events?
My events, the 800 meter and the 1500 meter.
Oh, you're a long-distance runner.
Yes, sir.
Oh, how did you get into those?
Well, before I transferred to the Adrenaline High School, I used to attend Rusty's High School, and after...
You used to attend where?
Rusty's
High School. Yes, and in class 4, I competed at champs in the sprints, that's the 100 meter and the 200 meter. When I came back for my first year in class 3, he switched me to the 800 and the 1500 meter. At that time, I was very young. I didn't question it much.
Who switched you? The man on the phone?
The mad scientist?
No, my coach at that time at Prestige High School. His name, Mr. Miles.
Yes.
Yes, so I was doing the 800 and the 1500 meter. When I came back, didn't like the 1500 meter at all, but I really got to like the 800 meter, and I did very well at it. And when I transferred to Adrenaline, I continue competing in both of those events.
And in hindsight, do you actually believe that was the right decision now to do the 800 and 1500?
Definitely. I mean, over the years, I've seen great improvement, and I'm reaping very good results from it. So yes, I've gotten some pretty good personal best this season. So I think this decision was a good one.
And Monique, the girls from Ferry pushed you all, yeah, up to the last event, yes? How many years have you been at champs?
This would be my
so many.
Fourth year at champs. Fourth year. Yeah, my fourth year.
Fourth?
Yes.
Wow. And how would this rank among your 4 championships experience?
This would definitely be the top one. I mean, the first time I competed at champs, I was at Rusty's. The second time, I attended Edwin Allen. I didn't perform that well due to injuries. And then in 2023, I got 2 gold, but we lost. And here we are this year again. And we are the winners. So I will rank this one at the top, definitely. Yeah.
What year are you in, Monique?
I'm first year, class 1.
No, in terms of at Edwin Allen, what year are you in?
As in class?
Yes. Class
Oh,
1.
lower 6.
Oh, you're in lower 6.
Yes.
So you still have your upper 6 to do.
Yes, I'll be doing that next year.
And what are your future goals, plans?
In terms of coming back or overseas, like...
No, what do you see yourself doing once you've finished with high school?
Definitely, I seek to continue my pursuit in track and field, and also my pursuit to become a medical doctor.
Oh, interesting. So you're doing the sciences now?
Definitely, yes, sir.
Good. And you're enjoying them?
Very much so. And I have wonderful teachers, so yes.
So you left Hanover, Lucy in Hanover, where you were a Russian, yes, to to become an Edwin Allen girl up in the hills of Clarendon. How was that transition for you?
It was a very good transition. I mean, at that time, my coach was going to leave from overseas as well. And he and my mother had some conversations, and my mother thought that Edwin Allen was the best choice. Matter of fact, I was supposed to attend Edwin Allen from grade 7, but that didn't happen. So, I mean, the transition was a good, and I mean, I'm where I'm supposed to be from the beginning.
So your family is also in Frankfield with you?
No, my family is from Westmoreland.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm from, yes.
Coach Dyke, let me bring you back in here. Yeah? This must be part of the effort behind the scenes. So you help these young... Who have we lost? Coach Dyke?
No, I'm still there.
Oh, this must be part of the management system you have there at Edwin Allen to help transition these kids, who come to Edwin Allen, several of whom are not from Frankfield. Tell me about that part of the management of the girls and the boys at Edwin Allen.
Well, as I said, a lot of them are from outside the parish. So we have to ensure that we have good secure facility, boarding facility for them. And in that process, we ensure that all their personal needs are taken care of to get them as comfortable as possible, because leaving home can be somewhat difficult, especially at some of these tender age. So we have to ensure that we have all the things in place that will, the support system, help them academic-wise, feel and personal. So we have a team of persons, coaches and support staff who provide those sorts of assistance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in terms of the competition this year, Coach Dyke, Heidel, how were they this year?
Well, it was closer than we initially anticipated, but I always tell the girls, when you go to champs, nothing is there waiting for you. You have to work for every point.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them realized this year that all that I have been preaching, came to reality. But we were well prepared for any challenges, and I think that is one of the reasons why we're able to prevail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was a crucial turning point for you, Michael Dyke, when you sat there and you saw the ebb and flow of championship metal between the girls from Edwin Allen and Heidel? What was a key point for you when you knew that this was it?
That 3,000 meters. When, at the end of the 3,000 meters, that is when we realized that we would not lost the championship unless something major happened in terms of disqualification or major mishap.
Mm-hmm.
Because we went into the final event, the 4x4, leading by 11.5 points. So in that situation, all we had to do was to finish the 4x4. Wherever, even if we finished dead last,
mm-hmm.
we would have
would have won the championship.
Yes.
But I had Tony, who was a part of that team, and a few other senior girls. So I talked to them and I said, look, let us play it as safe as possible. I would love for you to win, but if you can't win, keep it safe and let us reclaim our title.
Yes. Yes. How long you been coaching at Edwin Allen, Michael Dyke?
20 years.
How many?
Well, it's over 30 years.
Over 30 years?
Yeah, because from high school to college back to Edwin Allen. That's my alma mater. So I'm an Edwin Allen man all the way.
Wow. So you're tenured on staff at Edwin Allen. You're an institution there.
Yes, definitely. I am very, very senior there.
Yes. Yes, from I hear about Edwin Allen, it is synonymous with the name Michael Dyke.
Well, all those championships would have gone under my watch. So.
Yes. What is left for you to achieve as coach?
To be honest, at high school level, there isn't much other than to continue to help these youngsters. You know, to achieve their goals and become men and women. And you know, we encourage them to give back to the institution whenever they are in that sort of position.
Yes. I'm going to ask you a question, and I know it's going to be a tough one for you, but I want to hear from you because you're on record. Yeah? In all your 35 years coaching at Edwin Allen, you'd have seen many, many outstanding athletes. Yes? Some who have gone on to even greater things. Your top three in terms of the best you have coached.
That is one of the hardest questions I've ever heard. And I said that because it doesn't matter you try. I just said I'm on record, and maybe as soon as I'm finished, I might be getting caught. You know, but there's a young lady we had a couple years ago by the name
of who?
By the name of Jacqueline Gale. She was one of the first athletes that I would have coached at Edwin Allen.
Yes.
And she was also, I think, the first athlete to get a scholarship from Edwin Allen. At that time, we were very soft in terms of performance and financially very weak. But that young lady stood out. She won gold medal at Champs and represented the country at Caribbean Junior Panel and stuff like that. Went on to her track scholarship. But she's the backbone of the team, in the team that supports our young athletes in America. It actually forms a foundation now that helps the team, the pen relays and the champs. So we always call her the mama for the team whenever we go to pen relays.
Jacqueline what?
Gale.
Jacqueline Gale.
Yeah.
Yes.
She really are. And these girls that I've met her last year, they could tell you.
Yes.
There's another young lady by the name of Karen Thompson. She used to run the 800 and the 1500. She still owns the 800 record at Champs from 2004. And she was another outstanding athlete from that era where we were just coming onto the scene fully. And she went to the World Under 20 and won a bronze medal, which still stands out as the only female athlete from the English-speaking Caribbean who would have won a medal in the 800 on the global stage up to this point in time. Because we would have a lot of them before from Jamaica, but none would have won a global medal in one of those major championships.
Yes.
In 800.
Oh. And the third and final one?
Well, I had a pair of girls who left recently, the Clayton twins. They were really, I have to keep them together since they are twins.
Yes.
You know, but when they came, they really helped to transform, especially the areas of sprinting.
Those are the Clayton twins?
Yeah.
Yes. Tia and Tina.
Yes. And there are many more, and I hope a lot of them are not listening to me because they might.
I'll put you in trouble. Blame Cliff Hughes. But Coach Michael Dyke, congratulations and thanks so much for impacting so many lives in a positive way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Monique Stewart, yes? In a few years, it will be Dr. Stewart.
Definitely.
Great.
And Cliff, just to interject, I don't know if you know that Monique is the head girl at the school.
No, I didn't know. Oh, head girl. You're a leader.
Definitely, yes, sir.
Good. Well, we're all proud of you. Keep it up, Monique. Coach Dyke.
Thank you very much.
Good. All the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. Wow.
Quite a performance from such lovely young ladies and the men as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I could not end this segment without saying my big ups to my alma mater, Excelsior. Yes. They finished 4th in the boys section, 8th among the girls. Excelsior is on its way back. Yes.
Is they see a champs victory in their future?
Yes, sooner rather than later. And for all Excelsiorans, we now have to rally. Yeah, we have to do more in supporting the boys and girls at Antrim, yeah, to make sure we can deliver the title sooner rather than later.
And champs is such a unique venue in terms of high school athletics, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing like it in the Caribbean.
On Earth.
On Earth.
Yes, nothing like it. Yeah, good. But good stuff, yeah. And it's largely voluntary work done by the school administrators themselves over the 113 years.
To cultivate that talent.
Yes, it's one of the success stories of Jamaica. Yeah,
most
without
definitely.
a doubt.
Which is why our student athletes are recruited so heavily in the United States and other territories.
Right. You hear Tony Ann on her way to the University of Kentucky. Yeah? Good. Thank you very much, Madam Producer, for that. We appreciate it. Thanks to our technical operator, Mr. Andrew Anderson. To our YouTubers, yes? Yeah, we're talking athletics and some of them talking politics. Yeah. Yeah, talking politics. Anyway, on behalf of the entire news and production team, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good evening.